we're not going to play a game, don't worry. But what kind of games do you think you can play? Like, I genuinely have this kind of dream that you could say, all right, go and find something blue in your house, and all your young people will literally run off, come back with something blue. But like, that's one game. What other kind of games can we think of, just to be really super practical for some other people? What can we play? What can we do?
Yeah, we were thinking Bring Me, but maybe doing it so that you kept it just within one room, the room that they were in, so that then you're not going to lose people, like taking forever to come back. Apparently the group last night used that down south. That worked really well. They also did Jenga, where say you were playing Jenga, Ben, and then everyone would say which bit they wanted to pull out of the block.
Oh,
Apparently
that's
it worked
great.
well.
Wow.
I was thinking if you did use the breakout spaces, you could still play something like psychiatrist or follow the leader or something, because you could send one person to the breakout room, decide what the rule was going to be, bring them back, and then you could play psychiatrist still. And then I was thinking what could be quite funny is, you know, that game where you have to try and count to 10, but there's no rules. So say I'd go 1, and this will say 2, but if you two people speak at the same time, you go back to 1. So yes. Some stuff like Geraint Harris at St John's Allel is a minefield. Like, he just like a mine, not a minefield, a mine. He just it was about I don't know what time it was. He said, "How are you doing, mate? Everyone pray for you." Blah, blah, blah. It's about 11:30, and then I was just saying, "Oh, you know, I've got all this stuff, trying to think." And he just a billion games just came out of his brain. So he's got a lot of good ideas. I'm trying to just find them.
We were thinking things like 2 Truths and a Lie. Easy to do. There's a game, I know it is Have You Ever, but I think on TikTok it's now called Put a Finger Down Challenge. So you could hold up your 10 fingers or 5 fingers or however many you're doing, and you know, have you ever eaten a bug, and play it that way. Would you rather? That game's easy to do. We've played a game before called What's in the Hat, where we have a whole bunch of items in a hat and someone has to put in and they've got to describe it and the others have to guess. We could do something very similar where everyone's got an object with them, but they don't show it on the screen. They've got to describe it. Other people have got to guess what it is.
Yeah.
Then we were also thinking through some quiz games where they can message in the answer. So either text it into one of the leaders, or if we can, it would be harder if people are just using phones, but having another chat service open at the same time as being on with Zoom, doing it that way.
Kahoots could maybe be something. I haven't used this yet, but I know they use it in schools. Like Alad uses it, so that could be something that you could do a Kahoot. That could also.
And that's the quizzing thing, isn't it? So use that
platform for that. Or the story maybe of when everyone says a sentence and then the next person has to say something, just to that could work. And then we did one last night. It was just very quick, kind of as people were coming in, because not everyone comes in at the same time. So we thought, let's have some sort of icebreaker activity as people come in. So as they were coming in, getting them to familiarise themselves with the setting, but also go and find a mascot that's going to be with you today, and things like that. So they tried to go and show us the teddy bears and random things, or broken ping pong balls or something, whatever. The weirdest backgrounds they could go against, someone else suggested. Although there's also a way of changing your backgrounds on this, so it was so funny. Like, one of them popped up with Donald Trump behind them or something. So, Boris Johnson. So so you could things like that. I was thinking maybe if you could have a challenge. Yeah, exactly, just like that. So, or a challenge, like maybe they could come ahead of time, and you know, maybe it's like best superhero costume or something that they can turn up in, or something like that. And also thinking the emails to send out, if there was something specific for a game or for an activity that we wanted them to have ready, to have emailed that out ahead of time, or put that in the Instagram live and say, okay, you need to have these things with you for tonight's Star Live. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
nice.
They're really, really good ideas, those. Because I was sort of sitting there thinking, like, what can we do together? So that's really helpful, because I've been concentrating on what I can get them to do at home, and then, you know, show later. So this week it's the story of Parable of the Talents is what our apparently the server's going to be on, but who knows. So one of the things I've challenged them to do is to find some pullback cars or wind up toys that move forward, and to set a 2-meter course and then time them, and then do some videos of it or some photos, and then say like how long it took them and stuff, and sort of for it to be a challenge, who's got the quickest pullback car. But it'd be quite something that they can be doing at home, because of course they're all, it's going to be very easy for them, isn't it, just to sort of sit in front of TV and sort of waste all that time and actually getting back into stuff that they used to quite enjoy. So that's one of the things. So I recorded a video of me doing it, a very sort of classic YouTube, no sound, just background track on it, of me doing it in the church hall the other day. But then to try and get them to talk about that, and then maybe during our chats they can actually show us, oh, this was what I used, it was rubbish, it was really good or whatever. And then their little brother can go in and go, I want my car back. So I've been sort of thinking how I can get them to do stuff at home. So it's really good hearing things about what we can do in group chat as well. The Jenga one sounds really interesting. And potentially you could form a lot of arguments to that, couldn't you? No, you pulled it too hard, you wanted me to lose. But yeah, so they're really, really good ideas. And I guess it's just like thinking through, isn't it? What would you normally do with them in a group? And then how can you take those normal things and just adapt them to do them in sort of the online conversation setting. And as youth workers, we're pretty good at making things up, aren't we, on the spot, and thinking let's just do this or whatever. So they're fantastic ideas.
So we did that partly. I wasn't planning to do this last night, but we ended with a bit of a Penty prayer. We do it often at youth group, where we all pray at the same time, just out loud. So that was really cool. So 24, and there was obviously lag, like some people were, and we also got them to read Psalm 23 all together at the same time, which then was a big mess of a noise. But then I was saying, okay, it sounds messy now, it's messy, but there's still truth in there. So that praying out loud together. And also I don't understand how this works, but Matt, I could ask him, our intern from New Wine, he was able to put his audio from his Logic or something, like program, through Zoom audio, and then he could actually play tracks like that he's made, like worship tracks that then he can use, and I don't know. So anyway, he could play. We had worship last night as well through it. So it is possible. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And then we just had to mute ourselves so that there wasn't weird, again, lags of people at different times. But that was really cool to all be actually singing together at the same time.
Licensing for things like that, but I think
it's okay because it's not being yeah, we looked at all that. I think
so you'd be able to do that within a closed setting. So sorry. Yeah,
that's okay.
No, Facebook Live, it's all right. We were talking about it the other day and we're like, Facebook Live, we probably can't do that for something else. So that's good. I saw someone playing Linky. So I don't know if you guys have seen Linky, but like an en masse game of Linky. We played it while we were away last week, but as a team. But like you could do that with different people, and one person reads out the cards, and they're the quiz master, and everyone else has to get it. And I guess there's so many different things that we can adapt, can't we? And I think that's on one hand, this is kind of a weird time to live in, and to be faced with these dilemmas is quite odd, especially if you've been 5 weeks in post. But at the same time, it's quite an opportunity, as we've already said. Like there's so many different chances and an opportunity to kind of connect with people, and social media becomes sort of part of that as well, because I guess people can follow from different places. And yeah, I guess as a little plug, we in the Board of Ed at Blackburn Diocese, we're launching something on the 13th of April called the Framework, which looks to sort of dissect the different rough elements of what might be in a youth work session, and start to kind of put some of that on each day on social media to try and connect with young people and aimed directly at young people. So that's quite exciting for us, but it's interesting. We're hoping that if we can sort of start to model that, there might be some opportunity for churches to be able to kind of join in that and to sort of be part of it and to take that model. And it's, as we say, in some ways we live in a weird time, but it's also really exciting, the opportunities that might come our way because of it. So yeah, I think that is everything, folks.
thank you everybody for listening. We will just try and keep the conversation going and encouraging youth leaders across the area. So please get in touch if you've got any good advice, any tips and tools. We'll try and put all the links on our blog, on Facebook, and wherever we might post this. And just hope that's an encouragement and a resource at this time. And let's all keep trusting God and keeping going, and it'll all work out good.